Depression in men is very transient. They can overcome easily. But for women, it is deep-rooted in their heart and in their life. Zahra, home is a shelter.
Exactly.
Okay? Who's responsible for this peace and tranquility?
I wanted to talk about that because the woman is ruling the house and controlling the kids and the environment of the house. It might be, more of on her shoulder, right?
The women's role is core, essential, it's very crucial.
When you want to get married, when you want to meet someone new that you have no clue of how did they live before you, how are their parents, how do they treat each other in their home. It is really scary to me, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of Marriage Tips, what every woman should know. We are so happy to have you again in this new episode. So far, you have noticed that we have talked about 3 topics. It was retaliation, aftershock, and regrets, and of course, truthfulness and honesty in marriage. It was really great to have your comments below our page, and I was really, really happy to have you connected with us. Today, we're going to discuss about more important issues that I think that those 3 subjects were only subsets of them, of this topic, of course. Today, also, we have our dear Dr. Ahmadi. Again, the camera is yours.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salamun alaikum. Peace be upon you, dear friends, followers of this program. And I hope that you're doing great. Of course, this series of the programs all are yours, and we are hopeful that every tips that we're giving you are practical in your lives.
Sure.
And inshallah, today also you accompany us and enjoy this program.
Yes, of course. Please involve and please share your comments. Dr. Ahmadi, I was really thinking about the previous sessions that we had, and the topics that we discussed were, each of them were really, really important. But of course, I have tons of questions again in my mind, which is not solved yet. But we all know that every marriage needs a foundation. We talked about the honesty, truthfulness, and all those, aftershocks after marriage, that happens. Now, how should we react towards the retaliations that happen after marriage? But today's discussion really is really getting my mind, because the topic of mental health is something beyond, imagination. You cannot understand it unless you go inside and see the person within life. I myself can't understand it. There are some, signs of a person who doesn't have a mental health. You can understand it easily when you just see a person, when you just act in easy stuff. When the person is driving, when a person is ordering, a tea, you can easily understand that. But there are some things that we cannot really understand until we go and live with that person. Some mental issues are within our souls, and it doesn't show. By the time that the conflict happens, the issue happens and comes up. And I know that mental health might have different dimensions, right? I think you agree with me. Can you name us those things, and can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the introduction that you gave our followers, and I think that you made them ready to listen to whatever that we're talking today and discuss about. First of all, I have to, talk about the terms of, hygiene, mental hygiene, or physical hygiene, and say that let's see what is hygiene, all right? Hygiene has 2 dimensions, the physical and mental. Physical hygiene protects body, that we do not talk about it today. It is not including in our discussion. And mental hygiene, that is the heart of the life system.
True.
Today we're talking about it and we are opening it. We're seeing that what kind of mental hygiene do we have, and we're paying attention in the family. So let's see where, hygiene and mental hygiene frames. Mental hygiene frames and created in a personal life of a person who lives in an environment that is spiritually calm, psychologically nourishing, and emotionally full of, attention. Therefore, when we see that mental hygiene is being affected by the environment and by the space that we live in, the first people who come into our minds are the partners in a marital life and, wife and husband.
Yeah. The thing that comes to mind after you said that this mental health is affected by our environment, the first thing that comes to my mind are the people who had terrible environments and still they kept themselves healthy. But I mean, they needed a lot of practice, of course. It is not only by, I am born with this mental health. It is not like that. I know that. But the first thing that comes to my mind are those people really, when you want to get married, when you want to meet someone new that you have no clue of how did they live before you, how are their parents, how do they treat each other in their home. It is really scary to me, understanding. I remember the time that I was, negotiating and examining my husband's family. The time that I really examined that when I went to their house, and I understood and I saw the way that my husband's father was treating the family members and the environment of their house. And really, it is really hard understanding people's
I know,
mental
Zahra, I
health,
understand you.
Yeah.
You know what? You brought up a very good example. You said that we were examining the family when you wanted to get married.
Yeah.
That's totally true because, mental hygiene is something that you cannot acquire afterward and you grow up with it, all right? So you should be in an environment like the family. First, it starts, between the husbands and wives, all right? But when you wanted to marry a person, you should see as a child in what kind of family he had grew up. And you see that it should be without any kind of traumas and, including all kind of, problem issues, mental issues. So it's very important to examine, the families that we are going to meet and, to get married with.
Yeah, I know, especially about, childhood traumas that we are not aware of it. And people usually don't show it. And they don't come to your face and say that, okay, I had this problem when I was a child. Okay, my father was like this. My mother was like this. Understanding and examining all these things are really hard for us. But I think, mental health might have a foundation, in the very beginning of our lives. When you have peace in every kind of house, in every kind of society that you live, in any kind of family.
Who's responsible for this peace and tranquility?
I wanted to talk about that, because I always say the word mutual thing, because it is not a duty only on a woman's shoulder or a man's shoulder. They might have some percentages, but I think mainly because the woman is ruling the house and controlling the kids and the environment of the house, it might be more of on her shoulder, right?
Yes. Dear Zahra, we see some families, okay? You said that it is something mutual, all right, on men and women's shoulders, both. But what is important is that the women is the core of these kind of emotional behaviors.
Sure.
Sometimes women try to keep the home tidy and clean and organize everything, but they forget about them maintaining the most important responsibility that they have in a home. So we don't ignore the role and the responsibility of the men, but we say that the women's role is core, is central, it's very crucial. So, a home that is very organized, but it is suffering from, the lack of mental health is just, a place of survival, not a place for recovery and for live. So it is very important that, these two sides and parts of a family are doing, and we should putting emphasis on the roles. Later, I will explain that. Okay.
Yeah. So, so the main problem is that women take care of household organization more than their mental organization, right? I think that is true. Yeah, Dr. Ahmadi, as we all know, we for every kind of problems that we have in our life, any kind of problems that we might run into, Quran has brought something up for us, and there is a Quranic criteria for it. And as we all know, we have verses, a lot of verses about marriage and why this marriage thing happens. This tranquility, mercy, affection, and all these beautiful words that comes together to give us a good meaning for this going through this marriage thing. Can you please tell us more about this verse of Quran? I mean, it has to have a very vast meaning, but we are just looking at it so on a surface.
Of course, the time and the space of this program is not enough for explaining and interpreting, the Quranic verses that are about the marital life and about the wives and husbands, all right? But, the verse that you mentioned is verse number 21 of chapter Ar-Rum, that I want to take a chance to read this verse for our followers. And among his signs is that he created for you spouses from among yourselves so that you may find tranquility, sakina, in them. And he placed between you affection, mawadda, and mercy, rahmah. Indeed, in that are signs for people who reflect.
True.
Chapter 30, verse 21. In this verse, we have three beautiful and wonderful terms that are related to the relationship between, wives and husbands. And Quran very beautifully explained this and said that it is one of our signs that we have created mates like yourselves for you to have sakina and tranquility, means to be calm with them, okay? And what we placed in between, we placed mawadda, means affection, and mercy, okay? Means love between you. These are the criteria of keeping a family very firm and stable.
Exactly.
And also, to have a very healthy family life. When, you live in an environment full of calmness, tranquility, when you have, affection and mercy with your husband, when you live in a family, although there are lots of disagreements and there are lots of, conflicts or strugglings, because of, existing of these terms, you can, overcome every problems. And these are the signs that Allah the Almighty are revealing for us. And we should be, very honorable and proud of being Muslim, of have such kind of, book that includes all kind of, every kind of things and tips for us. I know that we may, face the shortage of the time, but I want to put emphasis on another verse, okay? You know why I have chosen this, verse for you and for our audiences and, the followers of this program? Because this verse, unfortunately, most of the times is misinterpreted. الرجال قوامون على النساء. This
You
is
brought the most dangerous
very
verse
good.
of Quran.
Very
Yes.
good. Why we say dangerous?
Yes.
Because, men are interpreting this term from their own point of
Their
view,
own
and
point of-
women are defending themselves
Yeah.
from the other point of view. And I want to say that Allah made everything and paved, the way for the women very,
Yeah.
beautifully, and said that when I say that men are qawam, okay, means that they're responsible. It shows their responsibility, not their superiority. Why do I mean? It means that the man is responsible for paying, nafaqa to the women. And what does nafaqa mean? Nafaqa is not the minimal amount of money that a man pay for the life of the family members, but it is, it is not just for survival. It's according to the, dignity of the family. When we're talking about nafaqa, you should think about, the level of the neighborhood that you live in according to your dignity. The level of the school that even, the husband and the father chooses for, the children according to the dignity and according to the honor of their children. And everything should be, spread according to the dignity. Therefore, he is responsible, and it doesn't show the dominance of the man over women. It shows, the respect for women, for wives, and for children.
Which
and
leads to the mental health.
And I was everywhere looking, for a chance to explain and interpret this verse for all of the, men and women to, pay attention that Allah never says that women are inferior, men are superior.
Yeah.
No, it is something else. Beautifully, again, affection, again, respect.
He barely mentions the gender.
Very
the
good.
main topic is other things.
Yeah, I hope that if our followers also had this question in their minds, according to the very short explanation that I gave them, they removed, all, discrimination that they may got from this verse.
Yeah, from the previous verse of Surah Rum, it is really unfortunate that we don't really pay attention to the real goals of the marriage. We mostly don't really, how many percentage of people do care about these mercy and affections? I can say that do you remember our first episode? We were talking about retaliation.
For sure.
Yeah, we talked about these fights that they're always in the family.
The conflicts.
The conflicts are always in between, and the spouses are fighting to win. This it is opposite of mercy and affection.
Yeah.
When you want to get calm, to have this peace beside someone that you're living, it is completely the opposite of what we're actually doing right now.
Let me remind the followers about the verses that we talked about. The first verse was chapter Rum, verse 21, and the second one, Ar-Rijal Qawwamuna 'ala Nisa, is chapter Nisa 4 and verse 34.
Thank you very much. So as far as I understood, our mental hygiene really affects our environment, and we understood that this peace and affection and mercy comes from a healthy, hygiene that a person might have. But can we discuss more about what are the signs of a person who does not have a mental health? I think there are some, very obvious ones. A person who keeps yelling, shouting, blaming others, I don't know, who is always aggressive over everything. This person is really, easy to understand that this person is not stable mentally.
It's true. Yes.
Yeah. What are other signs that you might?
You mean the consequences of the absence of mental hygiene?
When a person does not show those signs, of course, it means that the person has the mental health.
Yes.
But when the person is showing this, the signs that I mentioned, there must be some consequences, of course.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. We said that, mental hygiene is the heart of the life system.
Yeah.
So the absence of mental hygiene for sure has several consequences, all right? The first consequence that it shows itself, in the family is, the family members are getting to be, aggressive. Aggression, isolation, and
Depression.
depression.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And one of very bad consequences of these neglecting, of mental hygiene is sulking. Sulking is a passive consequence of this behavior.
True.
Aggression is totally obvious for everyone because when there is not mental hygiene, people are ready to, shout at each other. And the reaction of the other side might be, isolation, crying, and keeping and being in silence. I mean that the withdrawal of the other side,
True.
when a person withdraw from, communication and from, talking with the other side, with the partner, goes to the isolation. Okay, the interaction reduces.
Yeah.
So the people who live in such kind of environments, I mean, husband, wife, and the children, everyone goes to the isolated part of the home, and the other consequences would come and as a burden on them, all right? And, sulking, when person tries not to talk, why? Because he doesn't or she doesn't feel, secure and safe while talking. Everything are related and, are, waved into each other, like, being aggressive. Yeah, being aggressive, going into the isolated part of the home and part of the life and, and depressed. And, the important thing is that, the depression in men, is transient, means that it removes very easily, all right? Because of the characteristic in the personality of the men. But, for women, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
The differences between the creation of men and women really, in this part, really...
and Zahra, I think that you are fainting. It's better to help yourself while I'm explaining.
Today I was at the university and
I explained this part,
kids.
And especially because it is regarding to neglecting the hygiene.
I am being depressed.
It's better, yes. It's better for you to help yourself. Yeah,
Thank you.
You are. Zahra, when we are saying that, a person is out of mental hygiene, we mean that they're not ready to talk to each other, okay? And keeping silent and withdrawal in this issue causes, bad traumas into their hearts, okay? Because when a wife especially, I told you that depression in men, I remembered, what I was saying. Yes. We were talking about, depression in men and women. Depression in men is very transient. They can overcome easily. More easy, easier than women. But for women, it is deep-rooted in their heart and in their life. Because women are more sensitive and they are thoughtful about... We don't say that women are emotional to raise up, some other discussion that you're comparing, from being logical or emotional of men and women. But I'm saying that women also are very logical. But, the emotional dimension of, women and wives are deeper than men. So when they get depressed, it is deep-rooted in the mind, and it threatens the mental hygiene more than men. So we should be very careful about it. And men, of course, should be more careful about this characteristic of women and their wives, dear and beloved wives in their lives.
Yeah, but in this point, I think I'm not agree because, women are more sensitive. I understand that, but
you don't agree with what? Being sensitive and logical?
Yes, no. I mean the depth of this depression. You know, when a woman gets depressed, you know, we normally get depressed every day by many reasons, not just our husband, our spouses. Many reasons that make us uncomfortable and sad. But when men don't usually,
it was better to hide
like
this point and this tip because of course we have
I
some
wanted
men
to be
followers.
honest. Okay, never mind. No, but I think
women are more sensitive.
I'm
But
sure
not today's women. They are very powerful.
But and men are being more depressed these days. Anyway, the thing I wanted to talk is that men don't talk. They don't talk. But when they get depressed, I think the depth of their depression gets more.
I get your point now.
That's the thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, I get. I do agree sometimes.
This conversation and this lack of conversation between spouses, when they don't see the way of relief these problems through the conversation, it is so bad. You know, some people are really, we call them, verbal. You know, these people are so verbal. If they, keep talking about their problems and the husbands really listen to them and, keep supporting them, it may, cause, decrease the level of that depression and whatever the consequences of mental health.
Yes, you're totally right.
Yeah.
And I respect this disagreement, first of all, I should say. But, the women, the wives are responsible for keeping the home vital, warm, and stable. And when, we are looking for the resolution of all of these, circumstances of neglecting the mental hygiene, we should first of all look for, interactions. As you said, some people are verbal, some are non-verbal.
Yeah.
But interaction, all right? No important if it is verbal. Sometimes just by looking, writing.
Yeah.
And just by looking at each other, we can convey a message to each other, and we can, talk, because interactions and, keeping the relationship doesn't, just, depend on talking. Of course, talking is very important. Why? Because when I keep all tips into my heart and inside me, it causes me to be a very, sick person psychologically.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is very important to have interactions and conversations, verbally or non-verbally, difference. Yeah. And this is one resolution. And the other one, as you said, some people are non-verbal. Okay, there are lots of, everybody.
Other ways.
Yeah, they can write whatever that, everything that they concern.
Yeah.
You write it and put on the pocket of the husband's clothes and say that, okay, I have written something that I concern about, and please read them. But we should pay attention to this point, that every time that we write something for, the partners, we shouldn't look for the response. The very highlighted point here is that he or she becomes aware of what we concern. We are not looking just for, response. What is very important is to talk.
Yeah.
Talk and, achieve a resolution and relief.
I think the main problem here is this part, that they don't get any resolutions. They don't, they write, they say over and over, but when they don't get any kind of resolution, it becomes, that deep depression that you said that make them sick. I don't know. After a while, they just get tired of each other and say, whatever I say, you don't hear me. Whatever I write, you don't read it. And do something about it. If you really care about it, you would have done something. And the mental health just ruins.
And whenever you do not talk, you may face with some, lacking of trust again.
Exactly.
We talked, completely and perfectly.
Fatima Jan, I am really wondering what are the besides writing and conversation, having a conversation that the two spouses can use to maintain their affection. Are there any other ways that you can, tip us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other ways, like, I think the one important thing we referred to, that was talking, negotiating,
Yeah.
interactions, verbal and nonverbal. The other one, is, a positive thinking. Zahra, whenever, in relationship between, couples, we see that something suddenly happens. Like, for example, you enter a room and the husband suddenly hang up the phone. And if, the positive thinking doesn't exist in your mind and in, the atmosphere, the person may become suspicious about him. And it rises up, a conflict, a big struggle.
Yeah.
Who was that? And the woman
Why
maybe,
did you hang up? Yeah.
maybe the woman becomes suspicious about, this fact that there was a woman behind the line that you suddenly hanged up the phone. This is because of the lack and missing of, positive thinking and trust between them. So, and the other one, and I think the other thing that comes to my mind is paying attention to each other's needs. Sometimes when we see that people do not respect each other's needs, and they ignore it, okay? We are not only talking about, the materialistic kind of needs. Sometimes it can be psychological, spiritual needs, all right?
I think those are more important.
Very important that they frame, the mental hygiene. As at the beginning of the program, I said that emotionally it should be nourishing, spiritually should be calm, psychologically should be blah, blah, blah. All right? And, when a partner doesn't pay attention to, the other side's needs and neglect them, it shows that I do not respect you. I forget about all my responsibilities. And also, it is not important for me. And, neglecting all of the tips that the Quran gives us. Okay, because Quran says that men are responsible toward their women. And they should pay attention. And I gave you some tips about the meaning of nafaqa. And it's not only, the money and material to support the wife and the family, but it is more mentally and according to the dignity and honor of the wife. And the other point is the affection and mercy. Okay? Means mawadda and rahmah, that we talked about it. Although not enough, but we talked about it and we said that Quran mentions mercy and rahmah between, Allah placed it between the couples. So we shouldn't ignore that. And with respect and with dignity, we fulfill all needs of the other side, especially men for women. And it helps them to be, grateful. And we easily can go through the problems and the conflicts that are very commonplace in the life.
Exactly. As you mentioned, for us, life is not a battlefield.
Exactly.
And this respecting, your spouse's family, your spouse's, co-workers, whomever who this person is having a connection with. It is really important. Just imagine if in this mental hygiene, how much it would affect on the children if after a while you are going to have children, and after that those children are going to talk about what happened in their childhood.
Home is a shelter.
Exactly.
Okay, and you cannot compensate any place, no friend circle, no social successes. Nowhere you cannot find this, closeness of the relationships and this friendship between, the couples, children, family members, unless, under this shelter that is very safe and supportive. So home is not only a term.
True.
It is a concept. It is not only a building, a construction.
Yeah, it's true.
It is a space and environment full of, mercy and love. Warm, stable, safe, and secure for all of the members, the couples and children.
I'm starting to think that these topics that we were discussing in previous sessions, how harmonized and connected they are to each other. This mental health that we are talking today. Imagine a house that both parents are having this mental hygiene. They won't need to lie to each other, to have dishonesty, to have any kind of retaliation, any kind of conflict won't happen between these two people if they respect each other, if they have overcome their problems, whatever mental problems that they have, using different kind of counselors. Whatever that happened in your childhood could be fixed. At least you could try something to, I know many people who had the most terrible childhood. And now I understand that they decided to just cut this type of not a healthy hygiene from their generation. And they wanted their generation to be healthy and continue and go on.
I wish so.
I wish, really.
Yes, that is right.
Anything
I couldn't agree more. Yes.
Yeah, anything you wanted to add?
The last point that I want to add is that mental hygiene is not about perfection. It's about honesty, responsibility, and mercy. And also, a peaceful home is not a silent place. It's a safe place.
True. I understand that. I am imagining a house that there's not enough mental hygiene in it, which, the kids cannot even laugh out loud in it. And there are many, issues that comes to my mind right now.
And
that
Zahra,
I have seen it in many of my friends.
You gave me a word. You said house.
Yes.
But I want to tell to our audiences and followers that let's build a home, not a house.
Not a house.
Because when we are saying home, it conveys a meaning of being coziness, safe,
comfy,
and full of love. But house is only a construction.
Just imagine a house when nobody can express their feelings because they are afraid of somebody's mental health in that house. That really shakes their body whenever they want to talk about a problem. They want to bring up a subject. They was like, okay, what would this person how would this person react? And they just keep shaking and being afraid of bringing up their problems. And what would happen to the next generation if we don't fix our mental health?
Inshallah, we follow the Quran and Islam tips about the family, and inshallah, we make a very lovely family.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm so thankful to you and our listeners that accompanied us and didn't go away anywhere, and they said firm, inshallah, I hope so, and listen to us. It was not our words, it was the Quran words, and I hope that it was useful and we could only show and reveal something from the Quran tips and Islamic points to the followers of this program.
Thank you, Fatima. We always use from your words, and we are so honored to have you in our program. Dear viewers, if you are interested in, understanding and knowing more about the previous sessions that we had, the topics that we discussed, please join our channel, Green Palm, on YouTube. We would be so loved to hear and see your comments, and we're going to discuss more about your comments. Thank you very much.
Goodbye. Fi aman Allah.
Thank you.